cows, but a couple hundred old stories they tell. But they'll give you the cold truth when no one else will. Here's to all those amigos been with you like blood since way back when. The ones who you know you can lean on, go above and beyond through thick and thin. The ones you just met, ones you'll never forget. Here's to friends that make fun of your haircut, talk trash to your face, but that one night in Vegas they'll take to the grave. At 3 in the morning, they pick up the phone, look out for your daughters, treat your sons like their own. Here's to all those amigos been with you like blood since way back when. The ones who you know you can lean on, go above and beyond through thick and thin. The ones you just met, ones you'll never forget. Here's to friends.
All right, we are good. Kyle Carter, look at you. How you doing?
I'm very well. I can't complain, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, without further ado, Kyle, I have to tell you what you're creating down in Key West, not just with Mile Zero, but with the other festivals like Roxland Fest and Key Western Fest. It's a music lover's dream. And as a South Floridian, Kyle, who moved to Nashville 2 years ago, where was all this magic like, 10, 15 years ago? I'm just upset at this point.
Right. Well, hey, the good things come to those who wait, right?
Absolutely, Kyle. And of course, it's going to take place January 24th to 28th. Still some tickets available at milezerofest.com. But in all seriousness, Kyle, is this what you always envisioned for Key West? I mean, the potential to be a musical mecca, especially in the winter?
I think so. And we got lucky in a few different ways. I'm originally from Oklahoma, just recently, in the last 5 years, moved here. But started talking about bringing a show here. All the elements that exist now that didn't exist at that time. We started looking in 14, 15, 16 to maybe bring a show. And there wasn't a one spot. There wasn't an amphitheater here at the time. But after a few visits, got the good opportunity to meet, at the time, Craig Cates was our mayor. And he'd mentioned, hey, we're talking about building an amphitheater. And I said, well, if you guys will build it, we'll put a great party in there. And now, 5 years later, coming into year 6, it's hard to believe, but Key West is a mecca for music. As you said, it's 150 bars on a 2x4 mile island, and 80% of them have music. And so now to have on top of these great iconic bars that have music all day and night, and these amazing theaters that we have here, having this amphitheater now coming into its 6th year it's a real blessing. And for people to get to come see small venue, 4,000 cap venue, situated between the Gulf and the Atlantic, and get to enjoy all the nightlife and all the other stages is, as an attendee, I can tell you I'm an attendee at other people's shows here in Key West. And as an attendee, this is a fantastic place to see music.
Absolutely. I mean, Key West is such a magical place, Kyle, and we're very excited to be covering it in 2023. I think the plan is to have our show at Smokin Tuna Saloon or something, but details to be finalized. But the point is, Kyle, and we have friends like Morgan Wade and Mary Spar and Lauren Morrow, BJ of American Aquarium, who swear by this festival, Kyle. Like whenever you talk to it about it with them, their eyes perk up. So, what special element have you put forward here? That road warriors that are on the road the whole year, they really their eyes open up when you mention Mile Zero, Kyle.
Well, yeah, let's not forget that it is January in Key West is pretty fantastic. You've got mid 80s, and they might be coming from, as you mentioned, some of those groups, North Carolina or Oklahoma or somewhere up north. And so the prospect of being in the 80-degree weather in late January sounds pretty appealing. But I will say we've got an incredible team of people. We have we do hospitality right. We put them in nice places. They get to play amazing venues, and our fans. I'm a football guy, and when you go to a stadium and they're smart football fans, it's the same with music. These are smart fans. They know when to get crazy, and they know when to be quiet and listen and pay attention. And they live, eat, and breathe the music. And Mile Zero Festers are the best fans, period. I've been at a lot of festivals, played a lot of music, and been around music my whole life. And I can tell you, these fans they're as good as they get, and they're a family. So, yeah, we're thrilled to have the artists be so about this show, because it means a lot to us.
Absolutely, Kyle. And when you sit down, checking out the lineups for the past years and this year, there's a great mix. You obviously have some, a handful of big names. You have up and comers. You have a little bit of everything. What's the criteria when you sit down with your team and you're like, all right, let's start talking about next year's lineup? Like, what are like the ingredients that you look for Mile Zero?
Well, I don't think it's a huge secret that we have a lot of perennial favorites. We have a lot of artists that come back every year: Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen and Cody Canada and Jamie Lin Wilson, and Morgan Wade now is on her third year. And so, the toughest part for us is to replace people, is to tell my buddy Pat Green, "Hey, Pat, I love you," or any of these people. Man, it's not an every single year thing for anybody. But there's a few out there, like the queen of Mile Zero Fest, Jamie Lynn, that makes it each year. But outside of that, what we're looking for is real music. And this is a genre where, the artists who go out and play 200 gigs in a year, who have been doing it for a decade, and now all of a sudden are an overnight success, 10 years in the making, to steal a line from Zane. But, we get the good fortune of getting to see people come up and get noticed maybe a little bit earlier than other people do. We have agents reaching out, or management teams reaching out, or we're friends with bandmates who maybe share some history together. And so, sure. Year one, we brought, every year, quite literally, we've brought talent that now we just can't bring anymore because they're too big. Cody Jinks, Tyler Childers, Whiskey Myers, Turnpike Troubadours, and a lot of these younger acts are on the same trajectory. You look at Shane Smith and the Saints. You look at Morgan Wade. Who knows? This year we've got a couple of new younger groups coming up: Ian Munsick and Muscadine Bloodline, and so we're thrilled to get to catch them maybe before people know them, and get to introduce them to potential fans, and to get to do it here, where the aesthetic is, you're not find a better place to see a show, whether that's at the amphitheater or on a pier in the Gulf or out on the Atlantic side on a beach, or it's pretty spectacular. Yeah. So absolutely well said, Kyle. And you're a music guy, like you said, you've been music around your whole life, so I'm curious about your thoughts on this. I mean, this event has consistently sold out, Kyle, and that is not the case with every festival right now. I mean, we're on the road most of the year, and a lot of them with great lineups and other great things going for them. Ticket sales are, less than targeted. Let's say it like that. And there's other artists, they're talking consistently now about the rising costs of touring and other consistent challenges. What are your thoughts, Kyle, just like on the current kind of like state of touring and the unique challenges that are happening right now in 2022 going into 23? Yeah, great points, and we're feeling it too. We partner. One of my partners in the show here in Key West is a owner of his own humongous facility, and do Rocklahoma, and born and raised there, and I get to go and help. And across the board, we're seeing an industry that's changing rapidly. Across the board, we're seeing maybe the squeeze of this economic change, where everything's extremely expensive, where the cost of everything has gone up a good chunk. And I think probably the biggest, one more factor in that mix is competition. When we started Mile Zero Fest in the Red Dirt Americana scene, there was Steamboat, which was, and still is, just an amazing show. And then there was just not a whole lot, right? And so timing wise, it was great. If you look at now, I look at, myself and our team, every day there's a new festival. Every day these bands are getting known by, just speaking Mile Zero Fest specifically, these bands are becoming known in more states, in more markets, and that creates competition. And now all of a sudden you're having to compete in a much larger pool. And so somebody can go see them 80 miles, east or 60 miles west, or, what I'm saying. And so, there's a crunch, and it's going to ebb and flow. We're going to have some great years, and we're going to have some poor years, and some in the middle. And I feel sorry for people who, who take a great big risk, because I think a lot of times people don't think about a producer or a promoter laying out a large chunk of money, and more times than not doing so because it's something they love, something they believe in that music or the band, and they lose their shorts. And I think we're just in the beginning of that. Looking at some of the relationships, talking to some of the people that we have, this year's been a tough year, and I think 2023 is going to continue on that trend. And so, look, we're here at Mile Zero Fest. It's not lost on us that this isn't a given, that it's not a gimme, and that we have to keep earning customers' belief in our product. We have to keep putting out the greatest bands out there, put them in places that are fun to watch, and try to do so without breaking somebody's bank. So it's a tough market right now, for sure.
And you're doing a great job, Kyle, and thank you for your time. And, I know you got a lot going on. So let me leave you with this, just scouring the community of Mile Zero fans, the people that come back year after year. There's a lot of people from Texas, from all over the country. If you don't mind sharing with us a little bit of like that brotherhood, that kind of family ambience that Mile Zero has created, and for maybe people that are thinking, man, like, do I want to go 5 days to Key West besides the weather? What is in there? That community aspect,
I'm glad you said that, because I tell people, we created the show and we had this dream that people would love it and see it for what it was. But once you put it out there, you're kind of dependent upon whether or not these thousands of people take it and run with it. We could never pay for the advertising that we get from people posting about our show. We could never pay for the placement that they're, the people that come to this show make it now. It's their show now. We couldn't possibly spread the word at the rate that they're spreading it. And so once again, we feel incredibly lucky to be in the position we're in. I'd say it's a whole lot less invention and a whole lot more evolution. We've gotten lucky that this group of people who now consider themselves family, these Mile Zero Festers, constantly talk about it. They constantly are inviting people to the show, and we feed off of that, and we create the show with them. We're always thinking about what it is that's important to them. And like I said, like you said, this is a family now. These people not only stay in touch once a year when they come to the show, they stay in touch throughout socials and go to shows together in their own cities or travel to a nearby city. And so we're really fortunate to be in that position, and we're going to keep working hard to keep them coming here.
Beautiful. Well, I mean, Kyle, look, let me just, as we wrap up, the lineup is incredible. Obviously, the talent is there. American Aquarium, Morgan Wade, Muscatine Bloodline, like you said, Pat Green, etc. But what you're creating there is more than a typical festival. It is like a really magical place with the magic of Key West feeding off of that. So I think that we're really excited to go, because you're creating something really unique there, Kyle, and thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Come down.
Will do.